In general, people have a dualistic perception of reality. Something's either good or bad. Good means when it contributes to their comfort and to them not being challenged. Bad when it becomes uncomfortable or, in the worst case scenario, dangerous. Now, when something is dangerous, of course you should avoid it. But the primary classification of bad that we tend to have is when something doesn't match up with our expectations about it. This self-centered view on reality is what scripture calls sin. It is this narcissistic tendency that fallen mankind has. And this is what Christ wants us to be delivered from. That's why we ought to be renewed in our minds. This is how it goes. Human beings are conditioned into expectations by their environment. But they accredit those expectations to themselves as if they all came from them. Which is false. It came from the environment. So now they carry expectations with them that they perceive to be from themselves, as if they came up with them by their own volition, and now they judge everything that they encounter based on those expectations, either good or bad. And the weirdest part is they end up defending expectations that did not originate for themselves. So they've been programmed and they are unfolding a script that was predetermined by someone else, while they think they're living their life and making their own choices. And they even expect you to tolerate them to unfold the script, not realizing it's a script that they're unfolding. That's how Satan has the world deceived. Satan conditions the world to view things a certain way, so based on that perception, people behave, and they hold on to their behavior as if their behavior is native to themselves. And Satan allows them to think that the behavior is native to themselves, because then Satan can control them easily without having to actually control them. Because Satan can't control people. He can only trick people into behaving the way he told them to. The best way he accomplishes this is by tricking you to behave a certain way, by letting you think that it's really you wanting to behave that way, while indeed you've been programmed to behave that way. And that's how Satan has the whole world deceived, because people think that their personalities and their behaviors originate from themselves, even though that is not the case in 99% of the time. So, what do we do about this? We see through it. Yes, we do. And one way to see through stuff is by slowing down and looking for the bad in stuff. What do I mean, look for the bad? Am I telling you to be cynical, to be depressed, to be bitter, and always look for something to be angry or upset about? No. What I mean is, when you encounter something that triggers you, realize you've been triggered. So there's some program somewhere that you've been conditioned into that's triggered. But because the trigger happens to you, you think that it's about you. If you've been conditioned to get excited when you hear a certain sound, it's a conditioning that's been placed inside of you. So when that sound or something similar to it happens, the trigger affects you. But because you experience the effect, you think it's you, but it's just a program. And this is how it goes. You're triggered, something appears to be pleasant, and you want it, you feel attracted to it, you get interested in it. Slow down. Why are you interested in it? Why did it trigger you? And then look at that thing, or that individual that you are so-called attracted to. What are the bad stuff that will come along with it? That is something we often don't ask. Now, Christ was very plain. If you follow him, the world will do you dirty. As a retaliation, because the world hates him, so the world will hate you too. Christ is very clear about it. Christ did not come and sell you a fantasy. Christ came and told you the truth. And he told you you will face persecution when you follow him. But he gave a solution. You receive power from the Spirit to trample on scorpions, serpents, and the whole camp of the enemy, and nothing shall by no means harm you. So Christ was clear. The world, on the other hand, does not show you exactly what you'll be involved in. Because if the world would show you, you wouldn't want to be involved. So, your responsibility is to check for the bad that may come along with the good thing you feel attracted to. It can be that you're in a job now and you want another job that pays better. And the things you have to do at the job fit your experience. You think, okay, it's not something quite new, it pays better, so why not? What is the potential bad that may come along? You may have colleagues that are out of their mind, they don't want to face life. That's one thing. You may have an employer that is hiding stuff from the staff. It can be that some of the clients that you need to be involved with are demon possessed, or they have unclean spirits following them. So now you will face that also. Maybe the corporation you will work for has a lot of people resenting that corporation or that company. So now from time to time, there's psychic violence harming that company or corporation, and because you work there, you're affected also. Those are the potential bad things that may come along with it. But often, when you see something that appears to be better, or that appears to solve some issue you're going through, you don't look at the potential bad that may come with it. That's where the saying comes from, the pastures are greener at the other side, or in modern English, the grass is greener at the other side. And I'm telling you, it's never greener on the other side. It may appear greener because it's fake. When you develop the attitude that you look for the potential bad that may come with something, it will become very hard and sometimes even impossible for you to be deceived. But that is something most people don't do. Okay, another example. You want to move in with someone from the opposite sex that you intend to marry, to build a life with. And let's say you're a man and she is submissive, she is kind, soft-spoken, she's supportive, she's all of that. And based on your expectation, you think this is the right woman. But then, one of your friends who knows you since childhood, your childhood friends, he tells you, Rick, this chick that you intend to live with and marry, are you sure this is a good idea? And Rick is thinking, yeah, duh, of course, or else I wouldn't go for it. So Rick tells him, yes, man, yes, of course, she is. Why else would I want to invest so much in it? And then the friend tells Rick, are you sure she's not just using you to escape a bad past? And then Rick says, what past? And then the friend tells him, Rick, are you kidding me? You want to spend the rest of your life with someone and you haven't examined their past? What are you thinking? And Rick acknowledges indeed that he was not smart for doing that. So Rick began to ask some questions to his fiancée about her past. And she was quite fake. She kept beating around the bush. So Rick decided to contact some of her former classmates or fellow students in college. And this was Rick found out. She was with a guy that she intended to marry. They're both about to purchase their home together. But suddenly, she cheated on another guy. She cheated with another guy, and the guy she intended to marry was not even aware she was cheating. And suddenly she broke the engagement. But the new guy she was with, that she perceived to be better, suddenly dumped her. The guy that she cheated with told her she was clingy and that she never wanted to face responsibility. She tried to go back to her former fiancé But he told her, not a chance. And then there's a gap of 2 years and nobody knows what she has been doing. So now Rick finds out about this. His view of her changes, because his view of her was, this is a match for me. Because he was only focused on what he wants and what he's willing to put up with. And because it appears to match his expectations, he was all for it. But a friend of his, who looked at the bigger picture, realized, okay, this is a bit too good to be true. And indeed, it was a bit too good to be true. That chick or that girl that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with was fleeing from the past. She could never tell Rick, I was engaged before, but I cheated on the guy because I thought I deserved better. I didn't care at all how it affected him. I was quite selfish and narcissistic. A new guy dumped me. So when I wanted to go back, I wasn't really sorry. I just wanted to forget all about it. He told me no. So I had to deal with consequences. I didn't want to. If she would say that to Rick, Rick's view of her would change. And Rick would always be on guard when he's involved with her. So she, on purpose, portrayed this extra feminine view of her by behaving in a very soft way to trick Rick into accepting her. And once they were married, she could drop the mask. But now Rick found out the truth. And now Rick decides, you know what, I'm not going to do this. Rick was focused on the facts, and the facts pleased him. But he did not see the truth. A lot of people make decisions based on facts. They do not make decisions based on the truth. The facts may trap you. The truth will set you free. Or it can be that you think about moving to another place. But then you realize, okay, I want to move to this other place, but if this place is so good, why is the population so low? So you begin to do further research and to realize, okay, something's off with this neighborhood I want to move to. You know what? I'm not going to move to that place. I'm going to wait a little. When you check the potential bad that may come along with something or someone, you will avoid many traps and scams. Too many people, however, they never do this. Even people with high IQs and degrees, they often don't do this. They rely on their own expectations. Expectations they never questioned nor examined. That is the dumb attitude a lot of people have. The people themselves are not dumb, but they have a dumb attitude. And because of this dumb attitude, which is narcissistic, they end up in very bad relationships and in very dangerous situations. It can also be that someone, and this is something that happens from time to time in the world, well, actually happens a lot, and it's quite sad, but you have people that end up as homicide victims. First, they are reported as missing, then they find the body. And when you look at the lives of those people prior to them passing away, or better, prior to them being killed, things were smooth. And because things went so smoothly, they thought, well, I can settle. I don't have to look beyond because things are going well. And indeed, the circumstances were easy. But the easy circumstances triggered envy, jealousy, and bitterness against them. So over time, this accumulated rage of others against them resulted in them becoming a homicide victim. And that is the trap that 99% of people fall for. Unfortunately, many believers also. When circumstances are smooth, look at the potential bads that may develop because the circumstances are easy. But when circumstances are easy, we never question that it may trigger bad stuff in the future. We don't. And when the bad creeps in, it's way too late. That's why when things are going easy, or better said, when things are smoothly unfolding, it's then that you need to advance yourself and move forward more than ever before. Don't wait for the next attack to come to move forward. Move forward when things are going, or rather when things are unfolding smoothly. Too many people get comfortable when things are unfolding smoothly, and because of that, they are not aware when potential danger emerges. And it's only when the danger has crept in and they are dying that you realize something is wrong, and then it's way too late. Always look at the potential bad that may come. Not because you don't believe in good things happening, you do. Good things happen. It's not only bad stuff to happen in the world, good things happen also. But realize the type of world you're in, and realize that evil will always seek to enter back. Look at the potential bad of all the things you will get involved in. If even God himself was open to you about the bad that you will encounter when you follow him, why do we think that apart from Christ we won't encounter potential bad stuff during this lifetime? I'm telling you, be realistic, be at peace.